30 minutes to the top of the hour, off still with the second hour of the show. And tell you what, this time around we're starting this with the SMB Inside before we shall definitely switch to the SMB on ground with Bariji Andrew. However, this particular one with the SMB Inside is looking closely at human trafficking. Over 20 cases have been reported in the last 2 weeks, that is at the Entebbe airport, rather in the last 1 month of June at Entebbe International Airport in regards to human trafficking. And when we mention human trafficking, you can easily look at how many Ugandans are leaving this country illegally, and after being promised jobs, well-paying jobs abroad. However, reaching there, they end up doing various things that are actually off context. And also, in regards to that as well, in regards to human trafficking, we've been able to see more people actually going in Uganda. For example, Ugandans here are apparently failing out to understand that also in Uganda we've got human traffickers, those who actually traffic children, that we've got those who actually traffic human beings as well, not only abroad. And the cases inside Uganda are quite many than the cases that are actually away from Uganda, because our main focus when it comes to human trafficking sometimes only focuses more on the cases abroad or cases that we actually hear from the people that are away from Uganda. So clearly, when you look at more of the situations in regards to human trafficking in Uganda, it's of a huge concern. Human trafficking has become a very huge concern in Uganda lately. And with this SMB Insight, we are looking at how best we can live with this. And this particular vice of human trafficking, which is one, like I mentioned, we've got to realize there are people who are being promised jobs to go and work abroad. Then apparently, once they reach there, they are either sold off to different different bosses in there, or they are either taken to at least do various crimes, either way, to at least be drugged, to at least transport drugs, something that is actually a very huge crime in most of the countries. And also, we've got to see others actually going out of the country and losing their organs, their internal organs, that are some of the side effects of the human trafficking that we're mentioning about. And in Uganda, according to Agnes Igoye, who is the deputy persons in trafficking from deputy persons in trafficking at the office of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, reveals that even in Uganda, human trafficking cases have risen so highly, and there are quite many that we cannot deal with most of them. So when pretty much look at the situations in regards to human trafficking in Uganda, it is not easy for most people in the country, and it's not easy for most of them to at least see that these things continue to move further. But the government of Uganda is trying to end this vice or eliminate this particular issue of human trafficking in the country. And the best way that we're actually doing is to create more awareness of people. However, on the sad note, when it comes to human trafficking, or let's say children trafficking in the capital, most of them have seen their parents getting involved in this. That is why in most cases authorities have steadily come out to warn people against giving money to street children, because most of them are being sent by their mothers or fathers to go on the streets, get money, and then return the money back home, or send that money via mobile money. So it is something that has actually become of a huge concern. But human trafficking cases in Uganda are rising day by day. This is worryingly one of the key issues that are actually struggling. If we're to look at, by the way, numbers of human trafficking, and we're trying to, as the country is actually struggling to end human trafficking in the country, there are lots of things that we need to worry about. Like I was mentioning, at the airport, for example, human trafficking in Uganda has actually led the government to ban quite a number of recruitment agencies, or these particular recruitment agencies that take employees abroad. Why? Because most of them are unlicensed, and most of them lack most of them actually lack licenses. They also lack connections abroad, and you'd rather take people out of the country without giving them direct reasons as to why they're actually leaving. And in most cases, according to the ministry, they face a very huge challenge with dealing with Ugandans who are actually being promised jobs abroad, because they think sometimes the ministry doesn't want them to move out. but then also it is actually the ministry trying to caution them to help them to survive the issues of human trafficking. So in a recent report that was revealed, Uganda has upgraded to Tier 2 from the Tier 2 watch list by the United States after showing dedication to combating human trafficking, according to the government of Uganda. And according to the United States Department of State released annual trafficking in persons report, which was released on Tuesday, July 19th, Uganda has shown dedication to combating trafficking by allocating significantly more funds to anti-trafficking efforts, investigating and prosecuting more human trafficking crimes, as well as convicting the most human traffickers in a single year and increasing trainings for investigators and prosecutors. Here with me is Agnes Igoe with SMB Insight looking at human trafficking.
Is that there? Our trafficking, actually our law is very stringent. When it is aggravated trafficking and it is involving children, okay, there's aggravated trafficking, which fetches a death sentence. There are those cases of trafficking which you spend the rest of your life in prison. If you remember Pastors Didas, a pastor and a teacher who even left his home and went to the dormitory of these boys, and he was sexually exploiting them. So 6 boys came forward. Those are the ones who came forward, but there are many. So this is a person who is entrusted to take care of what? Children, whom everybody would give. That this is a pastor, this is a head teacher, headmaster. Sexual. That's why we always say that traffickers is not that ugly-looking man with dreadlocks, like mine here, like this. No, it is us, it is parents. When we went to Karamoja region and we are digging deep into how these children are moving, the leaders decided, let's start arresting parents, because parents are haven't you ever wondered, you have so many children on the streets, missing children? Have you ever had a missing children's parents association? Have you ever had? It's not there. We have children in this country who are missing and there's no one looking for them, no parent. If you are that child, can you imagine you're missing, but your parent is not looking for you? So parents, they realized, because they started even using technology, these parents, that they would give one child a SIM card, another one a battery, another one the body of the watch. So when they are moving, you can't know that they have a phone. So when they reach their destination, then they start remitting the money to the parents. For you, you see them begging on the street and all that. You're giving, you think that, yes. We are also investigating a case where this woman recruited 6 children and brought them, because when you're a person moving, you get sympathetic with somebody who is sick. You can imagine. And you're exploiting them in the process. That is trafficking. And victims of trafficking, they won't come out to know that they are. It is us who have to continuously look for them. At Entebbe, in this July alone, they've offloaded like 20 cases, because now we've trained the staff of Entebbe, actually the whole of the other week, because World Day Against Trafficking, we've trained all staff from Entebbe. And one of the key things we emphasize in victim identification, because victims of trafficking have no clue. Some of them, you may see that they are hostile, because when you are like stopping them, don't go, where's your contract, what, they think you're spoiling their what? Opportunity, because the traffickers have coached them. They even coach them to how to lie immigration. Now there's a trend, because they will give you a visit visa to Dubai, for example. Then they lie to you that when you get there, then they change the visit visa into a work visa. That's a red flag. Because before you leave, you must have a work visa. So that's why we say use recruitment agencies which are licensed. Because now the 2021 regulations which govern labor recruitment for labor say you have to undergo 2 weeks of orientation at least. In those 2 weeks, they teach you what is in the contract. First of all, you're given a contract. They tell you what it is in a language you understand. They tell you the whole journey, the stakeholders on how to move from Uganda. It's not, you don't just walk like a taxi. About the documentation, they will tell you if you get a challenge, this is whom to contact, this is where our embassies are, this is the recruitment agency. If something happens to you, usually when people contact the office, we said which recruitment agency. So when you have a recruitment agency, you know where to start. That you have the file. International airport is the only airport. We have other border stations. And I remember we gave you those stats when we are launching the report for last year. Now we are coming to this year where we have trafficking in general, 421 incidents. But during lockdown, the biggest it was here, Uganda. Sometimes I wonder, the trafficking in Uganda is too much, more than the trafficking outside. But we concentrate, I don't know, we are not paying so much attention. Yes, we are as technocrats, but in the media, it's like it's okay. It's like when children are made pregnant, no one is shocked. You're only shocked when somebody is sexually exploited, but we should use the same energy here. Because right now, since lockdown, the biggest trafficked people are children. Both internal and external. It happens to also boys, not just women. But I've never, actually stories of boys trafficked who get into trafficking situation doesn't get so much in the media. The excitement is Bambi. They're not the identification, because a victim of trafficking has a right to be identified. There are also boys whom they sexually exploit. Yes, they sexually exploit them. But that doesn't come out, a lot. Even during lockdown, you saw me during media briefings, I would tell people, please, the girls get pregnant, but the boys are not getting pregnant. So make sure you're also taking care of them, because the stigma, they will not talk. So it is us to constantly find out. Because if, for example, Didas, who would have known, that pastor? And they sent him to spend the rest of his life in what? In prison. Because somebody spoke out, Yes.
Because it's rumors on social media and stuff. But it is going deep with people there.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on rumors, because I've not had anyone pronounce that they are banning labor export. So until I get that communication is when I'll comment, because for me, I can't speculate. So whoever is saying they have banned it, you interview the person who has said that they have banned labor export. But according to us, people are being taken abroad to work. Recruitment agencies are working.
Now that is something that is coming in from the issue of human trafficking in Uganda, which has actually become something of a huge concern in the country. Now, numbers are actually increasing in regards to human trafficking from the perspective of Uganda. And I should definitely say that we need to focus more on how we end this particular vice, as the government is entirely working hard to ensure that we bring an end to human trafficking in the country. It is something that we are strongly against, and different companies as well that is the recruitment agencies in Uganda are becoming an issue lately in Uganda. Something that is very vital and very influential is how best you try to see that this does not affect other people. Well, and then on the other hand, it is something that we wish to understand, that human trafficking cases may not entirely be women that are actually being trafficked out of the country or being kidnapped and taken out of the country to go and work as slaves away from Uganda, but then, or at least to go and work as sexual workers away from Uganda. But then there is also the issue about men that are being trafficked, but because they are afraid of denial, coming out to at least say or share their grievances, and society does not entirely look at it in the same perspective when a woman has actually been trafficked. So in most cases, the men who are also victims of human trafficking are also facing the same issue as that of the women, and that is something that is actually becoming very difficult to handle and very difficult to deal with. But from that perspective of human trafficking, you can get to understand that these are things that you have to realize that the government is steadily working hand in hand. Now, in a report, like I said, Uganda has actually been upgraded to Tier 2 from the Tier 2 watch list by the United States after showing dedication to combating human trafficking. So the government has actually been able to at least ensure that before anyone leaves the country, they have well-documented information about where they are going and what they're going to be doing out of the country. So in most cases, then you get to realize that these are things that keep Ugandans moving further and beyond. But the country is strongly looking at how they can see things moving and continue to gain more of the situations. But pretty much a situation that we will look at what is coming in from the human trafficking report is entirely showing you that the numbers of human traffickers are decreasing in Uganda, but there are cases of human trafficking that are happening within Uganda, away from those that actually happen regarding Ugandans that actually go and travel abroad. This is something that you need to work upon and see how best you can live with it. So clearly, it is something that we need to add to and see how best we can go by with the fact that human trafficking has become a vice that we need to deal with as a nation. Now, right, away from the SMB Insight, we're getting on ground to see what is coming in from the various regions in the country. We're going to be having an update coming in from Mukono, and then the other update is coming in from downtown Kampala with Barija Andrew. The one from Mukono is coming in from Naomi Mutumba, as we'll be getting more details regarding how business is moving in from all these particular areas as well. But also from the other perspective of business, from the perspective of what Andrew is going to be sharing with us this morning, his main focus is going to be on the issue of hawkers and how prepared they are as the country waits for the issue of the city hawkers and the vendors, as KCCA already set out plans to see and ensure that these vendors get back into the city, or to ensure that the vendors get back into operating, but this time around having clear regulations, having clear guidelines and onto which to follow, and to at least see how things focus more on or to at least see how things are and how they continue to push further and beyond. So if we're to look at how different developments are coming in from the region, it is that business normally moves on from areas away from Uganda, or away from Kampala, around Kampala, then away from the capital, and everything that happens in business is what we entirely do here every other morning that passes by. So on ground, we will be having a report coming in from Naomi Mutumba, who will be giving us the feed as it is happening live from Mukono, and to see how business is moving in from those areas. How are the people coping up with the crisis, fuel, commodity prices, and how are they living? How are they maintaining the life that they're actually facing? Because things are really hard in terms of the time that we are living in. One, the issue of inflation, then two, the issue of fuel, and then three, post-COVID-19 recovery, where we're actually seeing things moving differently. But how best can we see these things moving on further and beyond? Now, on the other issue of looking at how different things are happening from the perspective of Uganda, let's first get an update from Barija Andrew, who is on ground in Kampala, before we shall switch our eyes to where Naomi is in Mukono, to at least give us also a feel of the business world in there. Let's get Barija Andrew right now with the SMB on ground.